Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wine with Jimmy channel. So this is a channel designed to help those of you who just want to know more about the wonderful world of wine, and specifically designed for those of you studying, getting very much knee deep into the finer details of the world of wine. So here we have a series looking at the WSET Level 3. And here we're actually looking at what's called the systematic approach to tasting of wine, the SAT. And this is actually a professional approach on how to taste wine, make notes, and to evaluate. So this is very important for you at home if you wish to do this and make notes, but also specifically for those of you studying the world of wine at the level 3. So this is a 5-series thriller in terms of tasting, and this first one is the introduction to the SAT, going through the likes of purpose, the format, and then how to use it and preparing for a tasting. This video is available as free content, and parts 2 and 3 are only available to those of you who subscribe to my e-learning portal. That's over at www.winewithjimmy.com. Lots of extra useful videos and resources to help you with your studies. Please, as well, if you have any comments, please do get in touch by commenting on this video below. Okay, let's rock and roll. So we're going to talk about the introduction to the systematic approach to begin with. Now, the systematic approach to tasting wine is a tool that allows you to write a complete description of a wine, and then, of course, utilize that information that you have created to evaluate it and come up with conclusions. Now, this is a very structured and methodical approach to tasting, and it's therefore not an approach which is suitable for every occasion. Of course, if you are drinking at home and you just want to make a few notes about you like the wine or not, or if you're perhaps talking to a customer as a sommelier or in a wine shop, you're not going to go through, I think this is medium minus this and medium plus this. You're going to talk much more in sort of descriptive and more marketing terms. So it's not for every type of occasion, but nevertheless, it's very much important for the WSET certificate, and it will provide a more disciplined and structured template which will remind you to consider all of the important elements of wine. Okay, so let's rock and roll talking about the purpose to begin with. Now, the SAT is a teaching aid and assessment tool which was devised by the WSET, Wine and Spirit Education Trust, and it's to be used, of course, in conjunction with its own qualifications. And it's going to give you two main aims, and you'll see them up here. So it's basically the assessment of wine, the ability to assess and describe a wine, and then the ability to make reasonable conclusions at the level 3 standard on those wines. Okay, we're not talking about exactly guessing the vintage, exactly guessing the grape variety, the region, the microclimate. We are having reasonable overview conclusions, okay? And that's generally around the quality assessment and then readiness for drinking. Now, we split it into two main areas: the descriptive element, and that's through key category headings. And of course, that gives you the ability to describe the wine. So appearance, nose, palates, and conclusions. And then the final one is that conclusion section. Okay, so the conclusion section we'll look at the end. They're the two main areas we're looking at. So let's talk about the first one, the descriptive element. Now, the first part of this approach to tasting has those three sections entitled Appearance, Nose, and Palate. You'll see them in their entirety there on the slide. Appearance here on the top left, nose, the bottom left, and on the right-hand side, palate. So this is our descriptive element of the WSET Level 3. Then we go a little bit closer here. Each of those sections has its own category headings. Now these are found on the left-hand column, the left-hand side. So the category headings here for the appearance are clarity, intensity, colour, and other observations. So these are our category headings. Now, they are then broken down into the descriptors of the category headings. So these are all of the descriptors that we can utilize to describe the category headings. So for example, to describe the appearance of a white wine, you might select clear for the category heading, and then that's in the category heading of clarity. So you might select clear. Please note that it's not essential to write the clarity as it is not marked, but then you might mark pale for the intensity. So your pale is the descriptor of the category heading intensity. The color you might select lemon, and lemon is the descriptor of the category heading of color, and so on and so on. So in some cases, you are restricted to using the specific terms as they are listed. And in other cases, these specific terms are optional. And I'm going to go through this as we go through the whole tasting approach. So this, remember, is an introductory presentation to begin with. Then we come on to our conclusions. So this is the second part. So we've created a tasting note. That's the first part. The second part is to draw conclusions, come to some conclusions. So this is the evaluative part of the SAT. So we have two areas here. We have quality level, and then we have the level of readiness for drinking or potential for aging. So you'll see the two areas just there on your slide. The right-hand column, where we go on the quality level from faulty to outstanding, and then we have the four sections for readiness of drinking: too young, can drink now but has potential for aging, drink now not suitable for aging or further aging, and too old. These are descriptors of the category headings and conclusions. On the left-hand side, the category headings are quality and level of readiness for drinking. In the conclusion section, we must use the terms that we find here. Okay, so we must be saying poor or acceptable or good or very good. You can't make up things like wonderful, exceptional, bad, good. That they're not allowed. But we have to have this list here: poor, acceptable, good, very good, or outstanding. And it's the same with the sentences here that we have for the level of readiness for drinking as well. And the final bit to talk about here is what's called the wine lexicon. Now, the systematic approach to tasting is supported by this second document, which is actually found on the reverse side of your laminated card of your WSET tasting card. Okay, so we've just gone through the structured tasting note, which has the appearance, the nose, the palate, and conclusions. You turn it over, and then you have this wine lexicon. You can see I've put the sections up here. Now, the wine lexicon is a list of descriptors which cover some suggested aroma and flavor terms that may help you describe it. So what we have are basically clusters. That's in a form the category headings that we were talking about earlier. So floral, green fruit, citrus fruit, stone fruit, tropical fruit, and so on. And then descriptors in each of those category headings called clusters. We have descriptors in floral like acacia, honeysuckle, chamomile, elderflower, for example. These are the descriptors you will be utilizing in your tasting note to, of course, describe the aromas and the flavors found on the wine. Okay, well, that brings me to a conclusion for the purpose and format for the SAT. We're now going to talk on part 2 about using the SAT, how to use it. Once again, if you do have any comments or questions, please do get in touch, and you can do so by commenting on this video, or of course going across to www.winewithjimmy.com. And if you do find yourself in the UK, come and say hello for a class, glass, or bottle. I've been Jimmy Smith. Ciao for now. Goodbye.